there, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you are here. So we are dipping into the Real Housewives again, and this way we are making our way to Potomac. Now, if you caught my video that I did earlier, which I hope that you do, but if you have not already, make sure that you do after this video, because we were going through all kinds of reality star shenanigans, and I definitely want to know your thoughts about what was going on over there, because let me tell you, they have been just doing it real big. And let's just drop this down a little bit. So yeah, we've had so much to talk about over there, so I'm hoping that you get a chance to check out that video. So that being said, it is about time that we check in a little bit more with some of the ladies in Real Housewives of Potomac. Now, we're going to be covering Karen's update to her DUI situation, and it's supposed to give us some explanation as to why the judge specifically had, decided to, because if you caught that video earlier, you would have seen that one, to dismiss her ability to not have the case continue on. I'm thinking that we'll probably get a bit of a refresher of what we had from last video in that area, as well as maybe a little bit of updates, because it kind of told us why they weren't doing it, but we're going to check into it and see. And then we're going to look into what's going on with KEIRNA'S. Now, she's one of the newbies on Real Housewives of Potomac. She actually was on the previous season and got into an altercation with one of Ashley Darby's friends, who is no longer, I think, will be affiliated with the show. And so KEIRNA was able to get herself a spot on the show. So she is going on the season right now. If you are watching Real Housewives of Potomac, let me know what you're thinking of this season this time around. Do you think the newbies are a great fit? How is that working for you? And then lastly, we're going to check in with one of the alums. Now, I wonder if you can guess who we're going to check into, because we've got a few alums from RHOP. Okay, so I won't hold out too much longer. We're actually going to dip into finding out what's going on with Miss Robin Dixon, as it seems like she's grown her empire beyond her time at Real Housewives of Potomac. As you know, that her last season was last season, and it doesn't seem like she'll be coming back anytime soon, if ever as a full-time member, even a friend. So that leaves Gizelle kind of on her own right now, but it seems like she's doing okay on the show without her sidekick or her green-eyed bandit, right? She's also even making amends with Wendy. Go figure, never thought we'd ever see that day. And also, we all know that Candace Dillard has also left the show last season, and she left the show. From what I understand, Robin was asked to not come back anymore. And so she's having her baby. I don't know if she's already given birth. I kind of feel that we would know by now if she did. So at the time of this airing, she may not have, but we know she's waiting on that bundle of joy. And so that left Wendy and Gizelle left. And now they're trying to make a go at being cool with each other, because neither one of them are going to be going anywhere. So let's go ahead and get into Karen's real quick, because I think this will be a quick wrap up as far as that situation is concerned, because I didn't really see a whole lot different than what was shared in the previous sharing, but let's just go ahead and get into it anyways. And of course, if you hadn't gotten a chance, then this will be a first refresh for you too. So according to Reality T, Karenhuger's DUI update, and why a judge denied her request to have the case dismissed. Now, the Real Housewives of Potomac wouldn't nearly be as great if we didn't have the Grand Dame at the helm. For the last 5 seasons, Karenhuger has given us endless moments of comedy, from shifting her wig at the picnic to coming to Ashley Darby's bunions. Oh, okay. Yes. She did come for her bunions, didn't she? Now, Karen's imperfections are what makes her one of the best Bravo housewives. But her recent DUI has shined a negative spotlight on the mother of 2. And now she's trying her best to get back on track, but she was recently dealt another legal blow. Now, Karenhuger gets another DUI, because I do remember she did have one previously. They did mention this was like number 2. All right, let's get into it. So even though Karen is trying her best to course correct after her mistake of getting behind the wheel intoxicated, things aren't going her way. During the season 1 premiere of The Real Housewives of Potomac, viewers were treated to a reenactment of the night in question. Now, this was not season 1. I believe they mean this season, but the first episode for it. On March 19, 2024, Karen had left dinner and started her drive home. Along the way, she had found herself in an accident. After the police had came to the scene, she was charged with negligent driving, endangering property, life, and person, as well as recklessly driving a vehicle. Fans and co-stars were upset with Karen for her poor decision. Now, miathorton had noted that endangering yourself, not society. Your Karen, darling, call a car. Right? So she did share that in her, I think it was in her, what do you call those? Confessionals. Like, look, what are you doing? Out here doing this kind of stuff. You are who you are. You need to be getting a car. But anybody would need to be doing that, right? So at the time of the incident, the 2 police officers had noted that Karen had 2 beers in her Maserati. Karen isn't a stranger to driving under the influence because in 2019, apparently in her confessional, she had said that Maryland has a zero tolerance policy. And the mother, too, has stayed quiet about her indiscretion. She only tells her friends she can't talk about it, but they can read it. It makes sense that she doesn't want to incriminate herself, but Karen's lack of accountability is rubbing everyone the wrong way. If you remember Erica Girardi in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, she had to deal with that too, with coming off and coming across a certain way with the cases with her husband, and it made her not be endured, if you will, to the fans. Now, Karen Huger was dealt another blow, as Karen's lawyers have argued the evidence that was seized in that case was obtained as a result of, as we shared earlier, an illegal search and seizures, what they're alleging. Now, however, according to People, a judge had denied Karen's motion to dismiss her DUI case. The motion that the outlet obtained stated the defendant was told she was not free to leave. Karen's lawyers wrote she was not read her Miranda warnings, indicating that the information she would provide them would be used in the filing of criminal charges against her. So the 61-year-old filed paperwork on July 11th to suppress those statements and evidence from her DUI arrest after claiming she incriminated herself during a custodial interrogation without being read her Miranda rights. However, on July 25th, the judge responded to the request of the RHOP star. The judge made his decision based on other Supreme Court cases, noting that Karen's roadside investigation did not require her to be read her Miranda rights. The response read, the defendant's statements were not obtained as a result of a custodial interrogation because of her statements were made while emergency medical services, EMS, personnel were treating the defendant for potential injuries. Now, the ruling had added the defendant's statements made during this time were free and voluntary and were stated out loud while in the presence of police officers. Now, Karen Huger's accident is described in the ruling. So the response had noted that additional statements made after the defendant was examined by EMS personnel were not obtained as a result of a custodial interrogation because the defendant's subsequent statements were made while the defendant was temporarily detained pursuant to a traffic stop. The defendant's statements should not be suppressed, and the defendant's motion to suppress should be denied. The ruling also shed light on the crash scene after the police had arrived. The filing claims that Karen's luxury car was sitting off the road with its airbags deployed in a green area. The judge wrote, officers additionally observed the driver of the vehicle, the defendant unsteady on her feet, swaying, stumbling, and slurring her speech. The court documents had added. Furthermore, the initial caller spoke to officers on the scene and indicated that before police arrival, the defendant appeared confused and the caller smelled alcohol when interacting with the defendant. So Karen has yet to respond to the ruling, and basically question we have for you is, what do you think about the ruling? Now, this really does talk a lot about, some of the things that was already shared in the previous, but I think it just goes into a little bit more reiterating the facts of the situation in which, she literally just seemed like she was intoxicated. And so therefore, they proceeded to move on. She apparently said statements and stuff because, sometimes whenever something happens, obviously you maybe start talking, and she wasn't placed on arrest at that time. It sounds like she was placed under arrest after the statements that she had made in regards to, the accident itself. Now, clearly they were, addressing things as far as her injuries and stuff. So, definitely she was emotional, she was drunk, was not, according to, the arrest and all that stuff that allegedly she was under the influence. And, to her end, she said she was emotional because of the dinner that she had with her friend. And that was a situation where she, feels like things ebb and flows when it comes to her thoughts of her parents who both had passed away in 2017, very close together. And so she very much, still deals with the pain of that. Very often, which like I shared in the last video, that's how grief does come sometimes, So it's very sad and unfortunate. And then we just also wrap up all of that to say, though, when you're in the position of drinking at any time and you're, not able to drive, you shouldn't be driving. I also questioned the fact of the friend that she was supposedly with, if the story is accurate and truthful on Karen's part, which we don't have any reason to not think so at this point, because we don't really know anything beyond what's being shared. But if there was that friend in that relationship, that conversation took place, the question for me was, why didn't that person not see what was going on and didn't, insist that a car was done and maybe even called one for her at this point? Because, the accident was pretty bad. And yeah, there was, I believe, another DUI at some point earlier that was mentioned. And so that confessional that they speak about in the sharing, I believe, is in response to that, when she basically stated in 2019 that, oh yeah, Maryland has a zero policy to driving while under the influence. So she already was fully aware of the consequences that could happen, because she'd already been through something similar, maybe, or just at least under that arena of what would you call it? Losing the word. What do you call it? Just being a DUI. So at the end of the day, she already knew the consequences of that. And it's just unfortunate that she fell again to that situation in just a short few years. So definitely, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section about that. So let's go ahead and move on to KEIRNA'S. Now, she, again, is the newbie of the show. One of the newbies. There's a couple of them. And she seems to be, I guess, fitting in well. I don't see anything that's showing that this won't go well throughout the season. I think it's going to spice up a little bit as time goes on, because we're getting into the situation of the fight that she got in, that altercation she got into with Ashley's friend from last season, who should never have been on the show, in my opinion. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into that situation. Now, according to Bravo TV, they want to look in a little bit more to her relationship, because we got to get to know Kierna, right? So it says, who is KEIRNA'S new man and what to know about her love life? Now, the Real Housewives of Potomac's newest housewife, KEIRNA is taking a huge step in her relationship. While there are no wedding bells just yet, Kierna has shared on HBO RHOP season 9 episode 2 that she's moving in with her boyfriend Greg, a man she's clearly smitten with. But just who is he? Here's what to know about KEIRNA'S boyfriend. Now, so Greg is my man. Yeah, 3 times, she happily explained in a confessional. I love Greg. While we don't know a whole lot yet about the man making the med spa owner swoon, we did get a glimpse of her handsome suitor as she moved her things into his house on RHOP. Oh, you have more things, he joked, as she set a stack of boxes on the counter. We're not going to have any space for all of these. That storage situation may soon be solved, as Kierna shared on RHOP that the couple was in the process of building a house together from the ground up. Now, until the construction is complete, however, Kierna moved into Greg's house in the Baltimore suburbs. I'm excited about us sharing space so I don't have to pack my little overnight bag, we'll just say, every night anymore. She told producers of the advantages of living together. Now, if Kierna's friend and fellow housewife Karen Huger has anything to say about it, there could be an even bigger commitment on the horizon. Now, you remember, Karen and Kierna got really close because Karen last season during that altercation really made sure that Kierna was good to go, safe, rode in the ambulance with her to the hospital, really stepped in as like that mother figure for her. And Kierna was so grateful about that. And she shared that in the reunions from last season as well. So are we getting engaged? What are we doing? Karen asked as the two sat down at Karen's house for a chat. We are working on a way to cohabitating, so that's a big deal, Karen replied before adding, that's huge, girl, that's huge. Now, Karen's not so subtle hints about marriage didn't end there. She brought up the topic again with suggesting Karen could use the move to encourage Greg to get down on one knee. Now, see, she says, so I did something sort of similar with Ray. Karen said of her own husband. I said, if you want me to live with you, I'm going to need the engagement ring first. Now, Karen admitted her mother was thinking along the same lines. Now, listen, my mother's like, okay, this is cute or whatever. Where is the ring? She told Karen. So I'm just hinting, maybe get the ring and that'll make mama feel better, replied Karen. And then Karen agrees by saying, I think it would. Now, Karen did tell producers that even just moving in with someone was a big step for her after healing from her trauma in her past. The last time I lived with someone was with my late fiance, and that's 9 years ago, she shared. You never imagine you're going to have to bury someone that you just committed to and took some time just to be really open to loving and, wanting that kind of love again. Oh, that is really sad. There must be something special about Greg for Karen to be ready to take their relationship to the next level, but the romance isn't without its obstacles. As her Bravo bio hints, Karen is busy life juggling her med spa, KEIRNA'S Beauty and Wellness, and her hair company, Bali Weave Express, have left her with little free time. She's currently in a committed relationship with her boyfriend, Gregory, who might want more than she's ready to give as she pursues her dreams, the bio had read. Now, in the season 9 trailer, there was another sign the couple could face some struggles. And basically, she says in that trailer, I feel like sometimes I shrink when I'm with you. And, I believe he made a statement that wasn't so sensitive. So we'll see more of that as the time goes on. And of course, if you want to see the new romance unfold, you can watch on the Real Housewives of Potomac on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Check your local listings on Bravo or available to stream the next day on Peacock because, Peacock has got it all. So KEIRNA'S. Now, I think that she so far seems to be a good addition to the show. I would like to know a little bit more about her as well because my heart went out to her after what she went through in that altercation with those with that one person that I feel Ashley has some responsibility in as far as bringing her on. Now, she didn't actually go into altercation with her, but all of the games that she's been playing, sometimes she just needs to stop with the stir in the pot because it seems like she tries to avoid her own personal storyline to actually give to the audience. So, I think we might see more on Ashley, though, this time around as well, since she's supposed to be pursuing her divorce. But I would love to know your thoughts on KEIRNA. If you are watching RHOP, what are you thinking of it? Are you enjoying the season again this far? And what do you think of the relationship? Do you think it's going to last? She seems to be really smitten with them, so I guess time will tell. So let's go ahead and move on to one of the alums, which is Robin. Yes, we all remember Robin. Now, Robin, who had quite the time on Real Housewives, right? So now, according to Bravo TV, Robin Dixon has a huge update on growing her business empire. She says, I've learned and grown. And the RHOP alum is getting closer and closer to opening up her new business, getting the details. So this must be really a blessing in disguise for not to be on the show, to be honest with you. I mean, the good thing about being on the show is that it can bring customers to, awareness and customers to her business. But at the same time, maybe she's got enough to where she doesn't have to worry about that so much, because I'm sure along the way she's gotten herself some, networking that's making it able for her to get that business out there to everybody. And plus, too, we'll still talk about her. And, but the stress and everything that comes with, and this last season for her was not a real great one. I don't think I've seen her cry really ever, and I definitely didn't see her cry as much as she did last season. So this is a nice break, I'm sure. Now, Robin Dixon's brand new beauty business is almost ready to open its doors. More than 1 year after the Real Housewives of Potomac alum announced that she became a franchise owner of Glow 30 in July of 2023. She's now super close to welcoming customers and seeing their skin thrive. Mark your calendars because our opening date can't get here soon enough to book your facials later this month. Now, Robin took to Instagram over the weekend where she filmed a video inside of the reception area of the studio, giving her followers a huge update on the business located in Columbia, Maryland. I actually have families out there. It's a very nice area. Now, opening day is almost here, and the books are open for my Glow 30 studio in Columbia, Maryland. I'm so excited to begin this chapter as a franchise owner, she wrote in the caption of the post. I've learned and grown so much already and look forward to continuing to evolving as a person and businesswoman. Now, Glow 30 is a chain of facial spas with locations around the country, which offers a number of treatments from facials to filler to Botox to help customers achieve their inner glow. And Robin happens to be the owner of the Columbia Crossing location. Now, Robin Dixon says her new skincare studio is finally finished. And in the video, Robin continued to talk about the updates. She says, "I'm so excited. My Glow 30 studio in Columbia, Maryland is finally finished," she explained. "The construction process is done. We have our permits. We are ready to get in here and start rocking and rolling and welcoming all of our new members and members to be. I can't wait for you all to meet my wonderful and amazing staff," she added. Now, several of Robin's friends took to the comments of the Instagram post to congratulate Robin on her huge accomplishment. "Can't wait to see it," Robin's BFF Gizellebryant wrote, and Nanika, remember her, added, "Congrats, Robin." Now, the Real Housewives of Atlanta's Cynthia Bailey commented with the 3 red heart emojis, because you remember Cynthia, she had opened up her her wine cellar, and she also had a modeling agency, and then her wine cellar place also opened up to provide event spacing as well for rent. So she's also, no stranger to building up those businesses on the platform herself, in the sense that gets all the people a buzzing. So this is really great for Robin. I'm hoping that she will have a great opening when the time comes for her spa. So I wish her well, and I wish her family well on this endeavor. I know she's really excited, and there were some things that she's done in the past that we didn't hear much about. So I don't know if she's still in her real estate or not, but definitely doing this is great. Does she still have her the dazzling shop too with her hats and stuff? I don't know if she's still doing that. She might be though. But yeah, and I know she still has a podcast with Gizelle. So that was the Shady something podcast. So yeah, I think that, or it was Reasonably Shady. That's it. So, so she's got a lot going on. Of course, she's raising her 2 boys, and she's remarried to Juan a couple of years back now, I think. And I guess we haven't heard any scandalous, salacious situations since them leaving the show. So hopefully that will stay the same for her as well, because it got a little intense at times on the show when it came to his alleged escapades, if you will. So with that, I would love to know your thoughts, what you think about the DUI case being denied for suppressing the statements that Karen had shared. What do you think about the judge dismissing that case for suppression? And what do you think about, KEIRNA, and how do you think she's fitting in so far to the RHOP cast family? And, hey, with Robin, are you excited for her new adventure? Do you think that this is going to be something that's going to work well for her? Definitely leave your thoughts below, and let's have a conversation about it. And with that, I thank you so much for being here. I had an earlier video, like I said, talking about other reality star shenanigans, and I've got a video coming out a few hours from now also that hopefully will take a look-see at as well. And definitely leave your comments down below so we can talk about it. So again, if you are new here and you haven't had an opportunity to hit the subscribe button, I hope that you will and become part of the family. I would still love to have you. Go ahead and remember to give this video a like, and definitely make sure you have your all notification bells on so you do not miss any future uploads, as I would love to know your thoughts about those things, and we can discuss it down in the comment section. And so with that, I think I'm going to bid you adieu, because I think that's about it for this video. But until next time, you take care and be blessed. Bye.